Have you ever tried to scan a QR code at a restaurant, but it had a massive coffee stain right across it? Or maybe you've seen one on a billboard with a giant company logo sitting right in the middle, covering up half the little black and white squares. And yet, when you point your phone at it, ding, it works instantly. It almost feels like technology working by magic, but it's not magic. It's actually a really clever piece of engineering. Today, we are going to discover exactly how this works, right here on Simple Things Surprising Histories. First, let's talk about what broken actually means for a QR code. To a computer scanner, a broken code is just missing information. It could be physical damage, like a torn edge, a scratch, or dirt. It could also be a visual change, like placing a picture right on top of the pattern. To our eyes, large chunks of the data are just gone, but the code still scans. And that is thanks to one brilliant feature built into the DNA of every single QR code: error correction. What is error correction? Think of it like this. Imagine you were at a really loud concert, trying to tell a friend your phone number. If you just say 555-1234 once, they might miss half of it because of the noise. So what do? You repeat it. Call 555-1234. I repeat, 555-1234. You provide backup information so they can piece the whole number together even if they miss a few parts. QR codes do the exact same thing, but they use a clever math algorithm called Reed-Solomon error correction. If a QR code only stored exact information, one tiny scratch could ruin everything. So instead, the algorithm calculates extra backup data, and rather than just stacking that backup data at the bottom, it mixes it up and spreads it evenly across the whole grid. So when your camera sees a coffee stain, it does the math, realizes the stained part is wrong, and uses the backup pieces scattered everywhere else to instantly rebuild the missing blanks. It knows the difference between your data and dirt because the dirt literally breaks the mathematical rules of the grid. But of course, a QR code isn't invincible. How much broken is too much? When a QR code is created, you actually get to choose how tough you want it to be. There are 4 levels of error correction armor: L, M, Q, and H. Level L handles about 7% of missing data. Level M handles 15%, level Q handles 25%, and level H is the absolute tank. It can lose up to 30% of its surface and still scan perfectly. You might think, why not use level H all the time? Well, more backup data means more little black and white squares. It makes the code look really crowded and dense. If you just need a tiny QR code on a business card, a dense code might get blurry and fail to scan. So you choose a lower level to keep the design clean and simple when the code is safe from damage. But here is the real genius part. This perfectly explains why QR codes with a logo in the center still work. The designer simply chooses level H. They know the logo covers about 15% of the data, but since the code can handle 30% damage, there's plenty of backup math left over. There's a catch though. Not all parts of a QR code are equal. You know those 3 big squares in the corners? They're not carrying data. They act like compasses. They're called finder patterns, and they tell the scanner, this is a QR code, and here's my layout. If you scratch or cover one of those big corner squares, the whole thing fails because the scanner doesn't even know it's looking at a QR code anymore. And what about when you scan a code crumpled on a cardboard box or wrapped around a curved bottle? Error correction helps with the missing parts, but the real hero for curves are the slightly smaller squares dotted inside the code, called alignment patterns. They act as reference points, telling the scanner how to stretch and fix the distorted grid. Engineers knew these codes would live rough lives. Back in 1994, a Japanese company called Denso Wave invented them for the automotive industry. In a car factory, things get dirty. Traditional barcodes were constantly getting covered in oil and grease, and the scanners kept failing. So the inventors built the QR code to be tough from the start. They traded a little space for a lot of toughness, building in redundancy on purpose so a robot could read a greasy, scratched-up label on a car engine. Next time you casually scan a crumpled, coffee-stained code, take a second to appreciate the heavy-duty space math working in the background to get you to that menu. If you loved unboxing this everyday mystery with me, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with a friend who always wondered how those logo QR codes work. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time on Simple Things Surprising Histories.